Welcome back. We are doing a series on rapport building. Thank you for joining us again on M&A Ambassadors, Becoming the USP, the Ultimate Sales Professional. Now, in the previous video, we looked at generic rapport, which is personal positioning, finding out about the client, and we looked at the Dubai positioning, leaning them positively towards Dubai. I gave you a couple of approaches for visitors to Dubai as well as residents. Now we come into specific rapport, where the questions are a little more targeted, almost like a pre-qualification, and we are taking them from the casual into the more objective and the more serious. So when we ended the generic rapport, we are saying exactly Dubai is one of the best cities in the world, both for business and pleasure. That's the reason why so many people invest in property. So have you invested in any property before? This is the investment positioning. And if they say, well, yes, I have invested in some properties, I'll say, well, that's interesting. May I ask which kind of properties? And how did these properties actually work out for you? So I'm doing a pre-qualification to see, has he done what kind of properties, villas, communities, towers, commercial. It gives me a rough indicator of potential investment amounts, his comfort with the market. That's what I'm doing. So it's a bit of a pre-qualification, but it has come nicely after he has said, this is what I like about Dubai. And I've asked him, have you done any investments in Dubai before? Maybe he hasn't done it. He might have done it somewhere else. I would say, well, that's interesting. Which countries have you done investments in? How did that work for you? What did you really like about those investments? So it allows you to catch that kind of information. Now what I want to do is from the investment positioning, I want to take them to the developer positioning or the community positioning in case it's a secondary home meeting that you have. So how would you do a developer positioning? Because I'm going to be suggesting, I've met this person, they might have had an interest in let's take an example of Emaar. They might have wanted to buy something from Emaar. So I'm thinking of understanding how much they are familiar with Emaar. So the questions would be like this for a resident as well as for a visitor. Let's do the visitor first. So if it's a visitor, I would turn around and say, so have you visited the Dubai Mall, the Burj Khalifa, the downtown area? There's a very high probability you will get yes as an answer because every tourist who comes here definitely goes to that area. So that's all you do. So have you visited the downtown area, the Burj Khalifa, the Dubai Mall? And they'll say, well, yeah, I have visited those areas. Then say, notice the Emaar name all over on the buildings? And they will tell you, well, yes, I have seen that name. So I would simply ask the next question, taking the name of the client. So Ahmed, how familiar are you with Emaar as a developer? Now I'm going into developer positioning. Now they may have some information or they may not have. In which case you would simply say, let me quickly tell you about Emaar. Go into a very short pitch about who is Emaar, how they have shaped the landscape of Dubai, what has been their legacy, signature communities, what is the kind of homes that they specialize in and why so many people have bought from them. Any awards, world records, any brand associations, but keep it short, don't ramble for too long. Now, once I have done that, I would turn around and say, and we would love you to be the next investor in that community. Would you be comfortable discussing an opportunity with a developer like Emaar? And there's a very high probability you will get yes at this point, and then you can go into setting the agenda. You could do this with Damak, you can do this with Nakil, you could do this with any developer. If you're doing secondary homes, then the question would be something like, how familiar are you with the downtown area? Or how familiar are you with Dubai Hills estate? And from there you can go into the positioning for you. So you start this, the question is different for a visitor to Dubai. It is, have you visited the downtown area? Now, if it was for a resident, I can confidently say, well, I'm sure you have visited the Dubai Mall, Burj Khalifa, the downtown area. And they will say, well, yeah, I have visited the area. So notice the Emaar name all over the place, and you go exactly into the same dialogue. Notice the Emaar name all over the place on most of the buildings. So how familiar are you with Emaar? And based on whatever their replies, you'll say, let me quickly tell you a little bit about Emaar, go through Emaar, and then tell them, and we would love it for you to be their newest homeowner or investor. So Ahmed, would you be comfortable discussing an opportunity with Emar? You will probably get, yep, no problem. I don't mind discussing. Remember, we're not asking them if they will buy. It's too early. You will simply ask, would you be comfortable discussing an opportunity with Emar? Replace Emar with whichever developer or master community. Would you be comfortable looking for a home in Dubai Hills Estate? Would you be comfortable looking for that apartment in the downtown area? That's all you're doing. And when they say yes, you will move into setting the agenda. On my next video, I will talk about setting the agenda and also give you a quick summary of the structure in the rapport. Thank you for joining us on this episode of M&A Ambassadors Becoming the USP, the Ultimate Sales Professional.